Always Monday morning, May 16th, 2022. We're doing our live show. And of course, today, just Major League Baseball that I see on the card. NHL, 2 Game 7s yesterday. NBA, 2 Game 7s yesterday. And, not everything is always as it appears to be, as the Dallas Mavericks kind of put the hammer down on the Phoenix Suns in that game. Now we have the Mavericks against the Warriors, the Heat, and the Celtics. 4 teams left, 4 teams standing in the NBA. And, I think these make for a fairly interesting series, but also for a very interesting final. It is going to be a truly East versus West final at the worst. East versus Southwest. Other than that, if it's the Warriors that can knock off the Mavs, who didn't look like they were ready to lose to anyone yesterday, then it would be a real East versus West with either Boston or Miami taking on Golden State. Chris, any thoughts here heading into these 2 series, Dallas, Golden State, and Miami and Boston?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to write off the Dallas Mavericks just yet. I mean, I know everybody may be jumping on the Golden State Warriors, the team that's been there, done that, but we've always said Luka needs a little bit of help. That didn't stop him from absolutely tearing it up in Game 7. He got help from Spencer Dinwiddie and a couple of other role players, but again, just a dominant performance by Dallas. I think will give him a ton of momentum going into that series against Golden State, and that Eastern Conference Final is going to be definitely really fun to watch.
If you're the Phoenix Suns, what do you do at this point? Obviously it was not pretty, and there's really not a lot that would change if they, I don't see anything that they could have done absolutely differently with what they had to work with. Obviously, they're not going to be drafting high. What do you do? Do you try and trade one of these guys? What do you do?
I don't know if there's anything, like you said, I don't know if there's anything you could have done in that game. You just had the Mavericks, and Luka Doncic was on a mission, and Phoenix, it was one game where the shots really were not falling. And this team didn't win 60 plus, I think it was 63 or 64 games for nothing. So, I mean, there's talent there. It's just a matter of actually, executing in the playoffs. Trust me, I know all about a team that can't perform in Game 7. So, it's, they got to the finals last year, and they just stumbled this year. Like I said, in a game where nothing really fell for them. So, I don't know if there's anything they really need to adjust. It's just a matter of executing when called upon.
Brian, to me, the odds look a little tight in this Mavericks-Warriors series for the series. I thought that Golden State would be minus 400-ish to win this series. See minus 230, Dallas at plus 190. My guess is if you want Golden State, you got to get them now. Because if they come out and win Game 1, this will be minus 400. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you want to be back in Golden State in this series, now is the time to get on them because those odds are just going to get worse. And if you're a Dallas Mavericks backer, if they lose that first game, you're going to get better plus money odds with them. But definitely, you called that game yesterday. I had a horrendous day, and I didn't see the Suns losing that game. But today's a new day. Got to move on from that. I was just shocked at how bad the Suns played. I'm not a favorite guy.
I was shocked at how bad the San Francisco Giants played. But that's sports, and that's sports betting. I mean, teams come out, they get absolutely wiped, and then the next day they come back and look like world beaters again. You just never know, and it just counts as one. Thankfully, whether you lose by half a point or whether you lose by 35 or 50. They all register up the same, and unfortunately on the win column, unless you've got an alternate run line or something, they they pay the same. But when we look at the Heat Celtics series, the Heat big fairly reasonable dogs here, and what I believe is where all of the value has to be. Because the Heat had the better record during the regular season. The Heat are the home team in this series. They are plus 145, and where the real value is, this is this is the value of this is the bet of the century, which is almost scary good. The Heat plus 1.5 games at minus 130. I don't know. I mean, you want to give me money? I'm lining up.
I don't know about giving. Maybe that plus 1.5 sounds like a give.
That's what I'm saying. Plus 1.5 at minus 130. It's a gift.
Exactly.
It's a gift.
I think it's a 7-game series. I like Boston. I think they take the first game, but
the Heat are just so much tougher, and they just have so many more options, and that's why they were the better team all season. And the thing is that Boston is going to be the more popular team, the more public team, and that's what we're seeing here. It's just a lot of public pressure on them. They're certainly are beatable, and we saw the Bucks do that to them. And Chris?
I was going to say, I mean, you also mentioned, getting plus money over the course of the series. For a Miami team that does have home court, they're 6-0 at home in the playoffs, and defensive rating of 100.6 points per 100 possessions, the best of any teams in the playoffs. So
Jimmy Butler doesn't have to score a point in this series. Yeah. He does not have to score a single point for the Heat to win. But for the Celtics, those guys all got to do it. It's like that's the big difference here is the Heat have way more options than the Celtics do. They're just a way more complete team. I mean, they've got, they're stacked. They've done it with much less, and the coaching edge is it's not even close. Right? I mean, it's apples and oranges.
No, it's not that much of a
it's
I mean, Miami has the
gigantic.
best coach in basketball, but Boston's coach isn't no slouch either. I mean,
well, you got a guy that
he's got the Celtics team playing.
You got a guy that can take you to the mountain and not get you to the mountaintop. When you got a guy who's been to the mountaintop several times, he's done it with great teams. He's done it with okay teams. He did it with this team with a lot less than what they have now. And it's like, I mean, I just don't see how Boston. I would say, for me, the bets are the Heat plus the 1.5 you have to do it. I don't love the minus odds, but I'm getting a 1.5 games as insurance there. I mean, that's it. That you have to bet, and then you can go into the Heat for the series and then go on the reverse. And I think 4-2 Heat is definitely about right here.
I mean, me personally, I think I would take that plus 1.5, like you mentioned, but I would play on the Celtics.
Well, you love the favorites, so it's like
I know I don't like the favorites.
You've become this favorite.
I'm just saying this. That's how me personally. I would
become a favorite guy recently.
I think the Celtics win the series. I think they take game one, and I think if you want to bet Miami, you wait past the game one, and then you'll get a better odds.
Do you think the Celtics go into Miami in game one and bust up the Heat? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Very tough.
Not going to happen.
We'll see.
Not going to happen.
I haven't made my determination of who I'm going to be on, but as of right now,
Jason Tatum chokes in the big games. Okay, that is his resume. Jimmy Butler plays big in the big games, and Tatum chokes in the big games. That is his resume. That is what it says. That's the book. He's not shown anything to show that he can get his team across the finish line. Ever. And look at all the comments in the chat, and that tells you everything you need to know. The world is on the Celtics here, and the line really, shows that. The books aren't going to give away money like that. No chance.
No, the books aren't going to give away money, but there's plenty of people like Miami too.
Well, apparently not nearly as many that like Boston.
Now, do you think there's going to be a spot to maybe take extended lines here? Because you look at the 3 meetings in the regular season, all 3 blew out the spread by at least double digits.
Yeah,
Miami.
I think they win the Heat in the series alternate line. I think they win this one 4-2.
Yeah. I mean, even like a game-to-game basis as well. Because, I mean, look at what Miami also beat Boston on the road. They were getting 5 points and won by 8, so a 13-point margin. So
how are the Celtics better when the Heat had the better record?
In the second half of the season. The first half of the season, Boston was
Miami was missing half their team. Jimmy Butler missed major amount of games, and so did Lowry. So did Bam at Bio. These guys all missed major chunks of the season. It's like the Heat finished with a better record. They never had a complete team the entire season. They're going to destroy them. It's like, look at what they've done in these playoffs. Quietly destroying
It'll be a fun
teams.
series. I think it'll be a war. I think a bloody knuckle affair. I think first team to 100 type games should be fun to watch.
The Heat have won, No, it's 2 series so far in the playoffs that they busted them up. It's not 1 series. The Heat have won 2 series. And they've crushed them. And the thing is the reason why they're not getting the airplay and stuff like that is because their series are one-sided and done. It's like that's the only reason they're not getting the recognition in the media, on across is because their games are over. There's nothing to promote anymore. It's like this. It's like there's nothing to. What are we gonna do? Promote a game where they're gonna slaughter somebody? It's like Philly. I mean, remember the Philly series? Oh my God, Philly got the 2 games on them, and that was it. It was like, all right, you guys had your fun. All right, we're done with you. They went into Philly for Game 6. Oh, Sixers, you were on the Sixers in that one too. Busted them up. I mean, no doubt it.
Well, it
right?
didn't help that Embiid missed some time.
Jimmy Butler missed time. They all missed time, man. These guys all missed time. They all missed time.
The Sixers are nowhere close to as good as these 2 teams, but I'm just saying I see Boston winning this series. But I've been wrong before, like yesterday, 5 times. But
I don't know. I just I think when we look at, I'm trying to find the Heat's record over the last 35 games and the Celtics record over the last 35 games to see, if this, what everyone says, the Celtics finished stronger, which they didn't, holds out, and it doesn't.
what's the record in the second half of the season after the All-Star break?
That's what I'm trying to find.
I believe the Celtics are.
I think the 35-game sample size would probably be bigger because didn't they have a late All-Star break this year?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So the Boston Celtics were 17-5 after the break, and the Heat were 15-8. So not that big of a difference. And considering the Heat sat their players at the end of the season, too. So a lot of Victor Oladipo at the end of the season, too. So since the All-Star break, the Celtics do have the best record, but it's not like this gigantically better record. It's 2 games better. And the other numbers are really not that big, not better at all, to be honest with you. Looking at them head to head here. These are all out there, though. Anyways, we got NHL as well, Chris. 2 Game 7s go down last night. There's 2 more series. What are these series? I couldn't even tell you.
So, well, first off, those 2 Game 7s last night were both outstanding. Both went to overtime. And now you set up interesting matchups. You got Battle of Alberta, Edmonton, and Calgary. First time they're meeting in the playoffs since 91. You got Battle of Florida, the Lightning and the Florida Panthers going at it. St. Louis and Colorado, which I think is the best series of the 4 that are going to be going on. And the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes, 2 teams that were slugging it out for the Metro Division title down the stretch. So I don't think there's a single bad series in the bunch. Not that there really would be in the playoffs. But I think
so what are the series again? It's Tampa Bay, Carolina, Florida,
Tampa Bay, Florida, yeah,
Carolina, Calgary,
Carolina, and the Rangers.
Oh, so there's 4 series.
Yeah, we're only in the second round now.
All right, so they're only in the second round. Okay, I thought it was like
Florida.
I thought it was like
I
the
think
NBA.
that intrigues me more.
Seems like a lot of warm weather teams here. Carolina, Florida, Tampa Bay, non-traditional hockey teams, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you have, well, I mean, the warm weather teams, yeah, there's a lot more than you'd expect, but still 5 teams that are sort of in the Midwest to Canada. So
Interesting.
I think that Edmonton Calgary series is going to be a war. It's going to be absolutely. If you like physical hockey and like two teams that just don't like each other, playoff hockey's intense as it is, but then you get those two teams against each other. Oh boy.
So what do you think about these series, the Florida, Tampa Bay? What do you think of this one?
I'm going to steal one of our old lines. Tampa Bay can suck it. I'm holding that out based on spite. I think for seriously though, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning have a good shot to upend the Panthers because obviously they've been there and done that. But Braden Point got injured in Game 7. I'm not sure of his status for this series, and he is a big contributor. He's led the NHL in goals in the playoffs for the last 2 seasons combined. So if he can't play, that's a massive loss for a Panthers team that can really light up the scoreboard. I probably think that Florida wins that series, but I think it could be another marathon. I think it could be 7 games again.
How about this Hurricanes versus Rangers?
I mean, the Rangers, I give them a lot of credit. They did play well over the course of the season. It's a Rangers team that I thought was still a year or two away, and they put up 50-plus wins this season. The Hurricanes are probably going to get the benefit of the doubt because they won all 3 meetings against the Rangers this season, but depending on the series price, I could maybe look at New York plus 1.5 on the series and maybe even to win the series. I think Igor Shesterkin, if he can really get his feet underneath him in net for the Rangers, he might be one to watch because I don't know when Frederik Andersen's coming back for Carolina, and he's their top option in net.
So we got the Colorado Avalanche taking on the St. Louis Blues. You know, the Avs, kind of the team of the 90s, right? In the early 2000s, maybe. St. Louis Blues, of course, traditional hockey power. What do we got here? What do you think of this one?
I think this is the series where I think all the value is going to be. A lot of people were on Colorado. Colorado, excuse me, was a trendy pick to win the Stanley Cup this year because they're, a young team with a lot of power. But the thing is, for me, St. Louis, a lot of times in the course of the regular season and in times against that series against the Minnesota Wild, looked like the team that won the Stanley Cup 3 seasons ago. And I think they really flipped the switch when they switched to Jordan Binnington in net instead of Ville Husso. Binnington was instrumental in St. Louis's playoff success 3 years ago. I think he's going to be instrumental here. I'm going to look to probably back the Blues a lot in this series because you already look at Game 1. Colorado a minus 227 favorite against St. Louis. So I'm probably going to look for the Blues a lot for value here and probably the over. I think there's going to be tons of goals in this series.
How about the Edmonton, Calgary? These two teams do not like each other. These cities do not like each other. And, well, I expect to see a lot of penalty minutes in this one. And Connor McDavid, 10 assists so far in the first round. 4 goals, 10 assists. Might be a little bit of a crybaby, but still kind of getting it done here. And, for Calgary, the big win last night. The thing is they did get the win. They did dominate that game pretty much statistically. But at the same time, they were gigantic favorites in this thing. Is it a credit to Calgary for getting the win in a Game 7, which is a Game 7, right? Any way you slice it. But, I mean, you're a 1-2 favorite in this thing. You should come out and bust them up at home, as well. So, I mean, there's both sides of it. Of course, the hats off to the Dallas Stars for even getting to a Game 7 in a series that many had them getting swept.
Yeah, personally, I had that series going 7 or at least 6. But I think the Calgary Flames were lucky to win that game, honestly. John Ettinger, the goalie for Dallas, was standing on his head last night. And it was just a nice shot by Johnny Gaudreau that found the back of the net in that Game 7. That's why Calgary's here. I think they had plenty of chances to put the Stars away, and that was a hard fought series. I think for this series, while you would normally think that a playoff type atmosphere between two rivals would trend to a lower scoring defensive style, especially like I said in the playoffs, these two teams like to hurt each other, but they also like to hurt each other on the scoreboard. And there's still a lot of talent on both sides. Like you mentioned, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl had, I think, 55 goals this year. Calgary's got Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm. These are two top, like very stacked offensive units and some questionable goaltending too. So I think I'm going to look at the over a lot in that series. I don't know if I can really nail down a side just yet personally to win the series.
So I remember when I was living in Chicago and they played the Boston Bruins in the NHL finals, and there was a game that was 9-8. And it was just, it looked like the All-Star game. It was like just back and forth. It was so fast. And they asked, who was the Blackhawks coach? It was Joel Quenneville. After the game, they said, what do you think about your goalie, allowing 8 goals in the game? And he said, well, the other guy let in 9. So we're good, And, the way you described this series, it seems that maybe we'll see one of those games in this as well. One of those.
I was going to say, I don't know if we'll see 9-8, but I think 5-4, 5-3 definitely in play. You see the totals listed at 6. I wouldn't be surprised if one gets up to 6.5 at some point in the series, but yeah, I think there is a ton of high scoring games on the horizon.
2013. Let's see what the actual score was of that game, because I know nothing about hockey, but that one was
sticks out.
Yeah, it sticks out. It was. Let me see. 6-5. All right, it's close. 6-5. No, that can't be it. It was more than that. 6-5.
It was what, Chicago and Boston, you said?
Yeah, I think it's 6-5. But it seemed like it was more than that, though. Oh, well. Doesn't matter. Brian, what are you selling today?
Nope. I got my my bounce back 3-pack, my 3 best bets in baseball yesterday. Just took an pounding yesterday, but I'm going to bounce back like I usually do. Love the card today. Even though it's smaller, there's definitely some value on the card today.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, got back on track yesterday and look on a build on that today. My MLB triple play, $39.95. 3 favorite plays on the card for Major League Baseball, and if you want a 4th, you could hop on something long term, whether it's just me or someone else part of the 2-for-1 capper deal. Great value at Pick Dogs.
All right, I have just my top play up there right now. I have a few other plays I'm going to add. Struggling these mornings, I'm telling you, it's just crazy times, but I will get those up shortly. Nothing starts until tonight, so we're all in good shape. But I'll have at least 3 picks. It's a small card, but I really like it. I really like today's card. Wasn't seeing it so clearly yesterday as I was getting pounded with the San Francisco Giants. And that one just looked like in hindsight, just a sucker bet all the way. It's like, the thing is, I love the Rangers on the run line. I just loved that one yesterday. And I gave it out as a premium, and I didn't give it out as the big play. It was like, but that was the play. That was the easy one. That was the easiest play on the board. They put Tanner Houck in. It was like, oh, man.
When the White Sox didn't show up yesterday, that really irritated me. I thought Kopech would. I don't know. It's just a letdown. Chicago yesterday. Thought they beat the Yankees.
It happens. Anyways, we move on. Today is a new day. And, that's welcome to the world of sports betting. The sure thing is never the sure thing, and Los Angeles Dodgers even got a win yesterday. So miracles happen. Let's see, we go to today's.
But they didn't cover the run line, which is another run line loss for the Dodgers.
Got the Marlins up against the Nationals and the Rays against the Tigers. Chris, what do you think of these two?
Yeah, I think this is where we make a couple run line plays. I like the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line. Detroit, they have a pitcher going, Alex Fado, but I don't trust him against this Tampa Bay lineup. That is the better lineup. And Detroit's struggling to hit righties this year. I think they're 28th in batting average. So I'll go with the Tampa Bay Rays there, and I lean towards the Marlins on the run line. I like Sandy Alcantara. I think he's the ace of this Marlins rotation. I just don't I don't trust Aaron Sanchez, but this is a bit of a hefty price for the Marlins.
Yeah, I think it's just I think it's a little too big for me as far as the Marlins go to play it. I think the Nationals plus the 1.5 is the play in that game. I'll Bitler it on there.
For me, in that grouping of two games here, I'm going to take Miami Marlins, but I'm going to lay it at -2.5. Yesterday, Astros got done on that alternate run line pretty easy. I'm not comparing the Marlins to the Astros, but with Alcantara matched up against Sanchez, so a big-time pitching mismatch. I could easily see a 3-0, 4-1 type game. So I'll lay the 2.5 with the Marlins. And in that first game, Fado, hopefully I pronounced his name right. He's 2-1, 172, 0.83 WHIP in the minors this season. Seasons before that, he struggled in the minors. I think the Tigers can keep it within the Rays within a run. I'll take Detroit plus the 1.5. I think you're laying about -110.
Marlins 0-4 as home favorites on the run line.
But a big pitching mismatch here in that one.
Sanchez wasn't bad last time out.
7.58 ERA though.
We go to the next set of games, and that's going to be the Orioles taking on the Yankees and the Blue Jays, Kikuchi, up against the Mariners with Flexen. I guess it's 6 Mariner players not available for this series. I'm not sure who they are. We should find out who they are. Any idea, Chris, who they are? I don't know. Anyways, Brian, what do you think of these two?
In these two games, I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles plus the 1.5 here. Orioles seem to play the Yankees tough in Baltimore, and Severino, I don't see him dominating Baltimore. Orioles have had trouble scoring runs, but I think this game could stay within 1. And then Toronto and Seattle, I like the over 8.5. Flexen, not as good as he was last year. He's susceptible to the big inning, and Kikuchi, he can get hit at any time, so I'll take the over 8.5 there.
Mariners will not list the players that will not be available.
Yeah, I only saw a couple on the injury report that were sort of long-term.
Yeah, they will not list them, which is fair. Toronto gets this unfair advantage. I think it's only fair that they shouldn't have to list what the injuries are. I think that's great.
Yeah.
What do you think of these two, Chris?
Yeah, for these two, I'm going to go with the Yankees. I like Severino, and I just think that gives the Yankees a bit of an edge there. And we're not going to get. I think Kyle Bradish has a future with the Orioles, but I just don't know if it's going to be just yet. I think the Yankees get this one by a couple, maybe 5-3. So give me the Yankees on the run line. And I'm with Brian. I like the over in that Mariners Blue Jays matchup. Chris Flexen, like Brian said, hasn't been what he was last year, and obviously, the Mariners know what Yusei Kikuchi brings to the table. They know what this guy throws from his time with the team. So, yeah, I like the over 8.5 there. I think that gets to double digits.
I like the Orioles here, and I like them plus the 1.5. But I also think they're worth a take here on the money line. These teams have played 6 times this season, and the games have actually been fairly close. And when the series was in Baltimore, the Orioles took two of those 3 games. The other part of it is that the Yankees have now been on the road for a while. So once you get on the road for a while, you kind of your clothes are getting wrinkled and dirty, and things are kind of it's just you've been on the road for a while. I'm sure the Yankees don't have to worry about that. I'm sure does all the laundry for them, has it neatly folded and put away for them. So Chris, if all else fails in your life, you can always become the Yankee underwear folder. Anyways, we've got. I think that Toronto has an unfair advantage over Seattle, and Seattle, like I said, is also another team that's been on the road for a while now. And I don't love Flexen. I like the Blue Jays in that game to get it done. I like them on the run line as well. And we go to our next game, and it's going to be the Metropolitans up against the Cardinals. Odd that Trevor Williams is favored here against the Cardinals team that dominated the Giants last night. And then we've got the Red Sox against the Astros, who are also favored for some godforsaken reason here. Once again, doesn't make neither of these lines. These are the ones that you say something looks funny, on both of these lines, because the Mets are playing terribly. They were dominated in that series by Seattle, and even the game that they won, they were way outplayed. They were lucky to get that win. Brian?
Normally, I'd be taking the New York Mets in this spot. It just looks odd, but Miles Miklos has been fantastic. 3-1, 1.49 ERA. Cardinals are coming off Sunday Night Baseball, but Trevor Williams usually doesn't pitch more than 3 or 4 innings. I'm going to take the St. Louis Cardinals here. It just looks like the right play. If it's a sucker play, they got me on that one.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of go the sucker route too. If this is a trap, I hope they got a net that can hold a lot of weight, because I'm gonna fall for it, because there's no way I'm passing up plus money with the Cardinals with Michaelis on the mound. Like Brian said, he's been lights out this season, and Trevor Williams, a 5.79 ERA over the course of the season so far. An opposing team's hitting 357 against his fastball. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals there, and I'm going to go with the Houston Astros. I think we're starting to see Garrett Whitlock get chipped away at a little bit. And while I'm not a Jake Odorizzi fan, the Red Sox just have a hard time winning at home. They're 4-9 at home this season. So give me the Houston Astros on the money line there as well.
Yeah, love the Astros here. The Red Sox 0-5 in the favorite role. They're not a good team. They don't deserve to be favored. And once again, the bullpen was in action yesterday, so they're going to be used up again. And when their bullpen starts to look tired, this team loses in bunches, and that's what we're going to see here. I like the Cardinals here. It looks fishy to me, the line all the way. Trevor Williams, I don't care if he pitches 4 innings or 20 innings, he still stinks in my book. You don't get those jobs with the Pirates and the Cubs. They don't just give those jobs to anybody. Those are reserved for very special people. Trevor Williams is one of those guys.
I believe he came up with the Pirates, so he had no chance, but the Cubs picked him up. So you can make that case for the Cubs.
The Cubs generally pick up pitchers in situations like that from within the division, guys who pitched well at Wrigley. But actually, Trevor Williams was drafted by the Marlins, so he did not come up with the Pirates. He first appeared in the majors with the Pirates with that 7.82 ERA. Welcome to the majors, Mr. Williams. 4.07, 3.11, 5.38, 6.18, 5.06, 5.73. These are like Gretzky, assist stats. It's like for playoff games. It's like 5 points. You ever like the old I played Sony PlayStation like 30 years ago, and it's like they would have like the announcers, and they would have like like when Gretzky would score a goal, it's like, and the 5-time MVP. Yeah. It's like it'll just go on and on and on and on and on. So kind of like Trevor Williams has that kind of resume, but not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. This year, 5 appearances, 1 start, 2 losses, 5.73 ERA, 11 innings. This is Trevor right here. 11 innings, 16 hits, 9 runs, 7 earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, and a bomb. That is Trevor Williams. That is him. No wild pitches. No wild pitches. Yeah, he's not good. We call that in the business, no bueno. We move on to the next set of games. Trevor. Got the Cubs. Speaking of Cubs and Pirates, they're playing each other. Cubs, Pirates. Cubs, Pirates, and Brewers, Braves. 2 playoff teams from last year. Brian?
I think that first in the Brewers, Braves, I'm going to take the Brewers, Freddie Peralta. I think he's looked serviceable last 4 starts, starting to get back into Peralta form. Braves off 11-inning extra inning game. They just don't look right this year, Atlanta. I'll take the Brewers at home. And then the Pirates, it seems like a very good value play. They always play the Cubs tough. Dylan Peters opening up in that one, and Wade Miley. I don't know where they pulled him off the trash heap, but I like the Pirates there.
Chris?
Yeah, I like the Brewers in that game as well, but I like Peralta. Like Brian said, he's starting to really sort of turn it around a little bit. But I'm not reading too much into the Braves' struggles right now because they were a second-half team last year, and I think that could be the similar case this year as well. But Ian Anderson, I think he's starting to fall off just a little bit. I think Milwaukee takes game one behind a resurgent Peralta here.
Yeah, Peralta's pitching well. I don't love this game. I just think there's so many other games on the board that are less competitive than this one, with decent odds. So I think Ian Anderson is. I know Romanelli really hates him, so it's like I'll go with guilt by association in that. We go to our next set of games, and we go with the Rangers taking on the Angels and the Royals and the White Sox. Brian?
Yeah, White Sox suck. I'm off of them for a little bit, at least for one day. I think I'm going to take the Angels with Syndergaard. I know the Angels are the hot team, but I just don't know how you could pass on Syndergaard and the bats of the Angels at a semi-decent price here against Gray, who hasn't. I thought he might do good with Texas, but he hasn't shown me much of anything.
Chris?
Yeah, Brian and I are on the same sort of wavelength for a lot of these games today. I like the Angels as well. I'm just a Noah Syndergaard fan, and I'm simply anti-John Gray right now, and Syndergaard's starting to look more and more like the pitcher that he was when he was in his prime and with the New York Mets. It looks like he hasn't really skipped a beat that much, and he's got the hotter offense behind him at a reasonable price, minus 140, not bad at all. So
yeah, but we had yesterday we had the Red Sox at minus 135. I couldn't even tell you who was pitching against the Rangers, and here you have the Angels who have been red hot, 24-13. The Red Sox are what is their crap?
13-19, I think.
Right, a crappy losing record, right, with the Red Sox who are 13-21 actually. And, the Red Sox are 8 games under 500, so there were 7 games under 500 going into yesterday's game. Here they were, trotting onto the field in Texas. I mean, this was ridiculous. Oh, actually, they were dogs yesterday. They were minus.
Martin Perez was the favorite minus 1.
Yeah, it was about even though. It was minus 110, minus 110, in that game. And then here you have though, Syndergaard only minus 140 there. I don't know. Looks fishy to me too. I don't know. Everything after yesterday looks fishy to me. Really does. Those books, it's almost like they don't want you to win.
Who's starting for the White Sox today?
I don't know.
I still have TBD.
Let's see.
Now, like Keller, that Royals continued. White Sox continue to lose.
Kansas City team that the White Sox traditionally beat up on. Yep, I'm still showing undecided. They've yet to make a decision. They've decided not to make a decision. Or the Forrest Gregg, I made that decision because it was my decision to make. Okay. Good story. Got, I like the White Sox in that one. Did you go, Chris, on these?
Yeah, I did.
All right. I like the White Sox here against the Royals. I think no problemo. They always wipe the floor with the Royals, and the Royals are not a good team this year. I like the Angels in this one. I'm just a little skeptical on it. I think maybe Rangers first 5 type thing. I don't know, or under first 5. Not really sure. The Yurfee is my favorite bet. How about that Yurfee in the Cardinals-Giants game? At least I got that. I got crushed in the game, but it's like at least I had the Yurfee, It's like I saw some guy like out there. I saw some guy out on Twitter like, oh, super statistician capper, with like 60,000 followers. Love the Nerfie. And I was like, pound the Yurfee. It was like Twitter is a great place to find really horrific handicapping. like really, really bad. Guys with like tons and tons and tons of followers, like horrible. I mean, just hideous. Love the Nerfy. They love the Nerfy is like the Twitter capper, badge of honor. I hit that Nerfy. Yeah, 1 out of whatever at minus 190.
My favorite is when you see the people that change their name to hashtag Nerfy God or something like that.
Yeah, it's like sure you are. I got like the Twitter people are like so mean, man. I got some guy named Jake Faulkner. He sends me a private message. It says, "How does it feel to be public enemy number one?" I don't even know what the hell that means. You fraud. That's what he says in the thing. I don't understand it, right? How am I? I'm a fraud because I sit here giving out free picks. I really don't even understand this. But how am I public enemy number one? If I'm his public enemy number one, well, that's a good thing. But I don't even understand it.
At least you're number one in something.
Yeah, I am. Numero uno, baby. Top dog. Public enemy number one.
There's nobody better.
What does that mean? How does it feel to be public enemy number one? I don't even know who the hell you are. Okay. I mean, your Twitter picture, if that's you, I mean, seriously, dude, it's like coming from you. It's a very strong compliment.
Just like, if I'm number one, who else do I have to ask?
Jake Faulkner, East Carolina University. Public.
Oh, that's the issue.
Yes. I think that's really because I never really said anything bad about East Carolina. Matter of fact,
I like ECU.
Yeah, I didn't love that quarterback, but he won us some money. It's like I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of these people that hate me on like the Twitter and the social media there's a common theme, and that is that they ask to be handicappers on the site or something of that nature, and I say no. Or like they, it's always something like that. It's like it's 99% of the time it's something like that. So I don't know, I don't remember, because this guy is like, I don't know who he is, but it's like they send me the private message on Twitter. It's like, if you send me a message like this on Twitter, here's the deal. I'm gonna get it 3 weeks later. If you send me a message on Twitter, a private message, the chances are I'm gonna get it in 3 weeks. It's like it's faster to ship at UPS.
I don't know. The U.S. Postal Service is pretty slow, so you might get it fast.
Pony Express.
Oh, like the Canadian mail, the Ruffalo's Christmas cookies. It's like
Christmas cookies. Yep.
Get me started on that.
They were good, but they were in pieces, and I got them in March. So.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to bubble wrap.
I complained I didn't get any this year. Now he took me off the list. It's like, okay.
You didn't get the Christmas cookies?
Not this year. I didn't. I got nothing.
You're on the list then.
I got nothing this year.
S list.
Yeah.
I saved it. I saved it for when I met you in Vegas, and I brought you the coffee, Chris.
Got nothing. I call it nothing. I was taken off the list. Anyways, yeah, I just thought it was so weird, man. It was like I check the messages seriously like once every 3 weeks. So I look and there's this guy. It says, "How does it feel to be public enemy number one?" Question mark. Just the you fraud. I don't know what I'm the fraud. That to me, that's always the question. The scam and the fraud. I never really understand those. I need the fraud for idiots version. It's like I do not know what you mean. Scam. I need scam and fraud for idiots because I do not. So the scam is what? That I spend, 18 hours a day providing free content through 2 websites, a YouTube channel, and live shows. Is that it? Probably, $2 million out of my own pocket a year to provide this. I don't know. Is that the scam? Because it ain't working for me. It's really not a good one. And I guess they're right. I do suck. I just suck at it. Public enemy number one. Don't even think about Rufal. I own that one. Just my favorite is still the enter line scamming tout Ron. The guy's a Boy Scout, you know? He's like Eagle Scout, lying, scamming, tout, Ron. And it's like his feelings were hurt because the guy said that. I'm like, it's like, how could you not laugh? I mean, how does that not provide the entertainment? Oh, man. It's so funny. Anyways, we got number one, public enemy number one. It's like if some guy on a YouTube channel is your public enemy number one, time to examine your life. You know, it's like, that's really, you know, it's called hit the little X in the corner. Smash the thumbs down, hit the little X in the corner. It's that simple. Trust me. I do it all the time. A's versus Twins. A's, Twins, Rockies, Giants, and Dodgers, Diamondbacks. I've gotten like I don't know. It's like I just get doozies of emails. Like I have people that are like the psycho of psychos, you know, emailing me. I have this one guy. I have a couple guys that use these fake names. This John Sweet, he always uses these fake names, and it's always like you guys.
Probably, you know, it's probably the guy that
I got someone's music on something. Is it you guys? Can you guys hear it? No?
I don't hear anything.
That's on my side. All right. Oh, here it is. I got it. All right. It came from like something on my screen. It was like a commercial or something. It was like, you know what it was? I like the way you work it. You take it.
Oh, the other thing about this guy is he probably tries to do the thing where he shows up in the YouTube comments and flips the cappers' names, like it would be like Bovan Jertz or something like that.
I don't know if it's. I don't even know if it's that. I don't even know if this guy does that. I have no idea, but it's just like.
That's what I was gonna say. He tried to flip Romanelli's name. He was trying to.
What this guy does, what this John Sweet does, he's in Ohio. This guy, what he does is he buys picks and then charges us back. So he's blocked, you know, from the site. You do that once, you're a thief, right? Yeah. So this guy John Sweet is just a thief. I mean, and then he and then he writes in to complain, like I can't get my picks or whatever. It's like, number one, you didn't buy any picks because you're blocked from the site, right? Because you're a scumbag. We should, you know, it's like ridiculous. All right, Chris, let's get to these last games.
Yes, sir. All right, I like the San Francisco Giants.
This is my life.
I like the San Francisco Giants here. Alex Wood, you know, he's had a bumpy patch, but he seems to have sort of righted the ship a little bit. And he faced Senzatella in this same matchup in San Francisco, just in their last respective starts, and Wood came out on top. The Giants came out on top 9-2. I was gonna play the over here just with Senzatella on the mound, but now it's up to 12, and I think that's sort of pushing into no play territory for me. So I like the Giants there. And I like the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tony Gonsolin, for me, just not a minus 233 pitcher. I get it why the Dodgers would be favored, but they're going to get favored based on that name brand, that bias. And I'm not buying it. Madison Bumgarner's pitched fairly well for most of the season. And plus 195 for a guy that knows this Dodger team. I'll take my shot.
So, Charlie Blackmon on the Rockies. You think he's done? Or do you think it's time to just like trade him to a contender at the trade deadline and let him finish out his career? Because this guy hasn't gotten a hit, or he hasn't had a multiple hit game in, I don't think, all season.
I think for Charlie Blackmon, you're starting to see guys like Connor Joe step up, CJ Cron step in, and he just hasn't been able to sort of keep pace. And like you said, it's kind of magnified the issues that Blackmon's had this season. Should he be traded? Potentially, maybe a change of scenery would be good for him, but I don't know if the fans would love that. He seems to be Mr. Colorado Rockies, so I don't know.
I read the comments, but we're not like a we have premium picks, we're giving out free picks, all that other stuff. It's like you're not even a supporter of our channel for $3 a month, so we're not gonna just sit here and just just be your free pick bitch. Doesn't work that way. We love you guys. We love giving out the free picks. But it's like, we're not going to sit here and just, let you, random fire catered free picks. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. It's like, we love all of our audience, whether you're a supporter level, whether you pay nothing or support our channel. But it's like at the same time, it's like there is a limit. We do the best that we can do. Brian?
Yeah, I think in that grouping of games here, I'm going to take the Rockies and Giants to go over the 12. That 12 number doesn't really scare me off because I think Senzatella can give up enough runs to get it to the over. Alex Wood's nothing special. Giants just coming off of a Sunday night baseball game where they gave up a ton of runs. I could see it going over 12 here, just a lean here to the over.
I like the Twins here. I'm not a Chris Archer guy, that's for sure, but the A's are so bad. They're terrible. I mean, this is the worst they've been. If they were an NFL team, you would accuse them of playing for the draft choice. All right. Public enemy number one. I also like Madison Bumgarner here against the Giants. I just think he's pitched really well this season. If you look at his numbers, they're really good. He has like a killer ERA, and the Dodgers are falling to pieces. The Dodgers are negative money. You bet on the Dodgers every single game. Brian, how much money have you lost?
Probably enough.
If you bet $1 on the Dodgers, if you bet on the $1 on the Dodgers, how much money do you have? Every game this season. Minus $2.66. You're in debt. At 21-12, 9 games over 500, you've lost 2.66 units, almost 2.7 units at 9 games over 500. You know what we call that, Chris? What do we call that in the business? We call that a tough way to make a living. It is a very hard way. That's what I've said this from the beginning of the season. Everyone ragged me, Dodgers. Here we are, 31 games in. You could already see it. 9 games over 500, down almost 2.7 units. That is it's very, very hard to win 65% of your games and lose money. I mean, it's 52.3% or something if you're playing regular juice, minus 110s, right? It's 52% you need to hit. So it's like, I mean, having to hit, 65% and still lose money. Oh, it's a tough day at the office out there. All right. Pretty exciting. We're going to do parlays today, or are we going to just skip it?
I got a parlay for you. I got the Baltimore Orioles plus 1.5, teamed up with the Pittsburgh Pirates on the money line, and then I'll round it off with the LA Angels on the money line.
Chris, any parlays, your fees, or your fee parlays?
I was going to ask you about the your fee, but I'll give my parlay first. I like the over between the Mariners and Blue Jays, the Houston Astros on the money line, and the Milwaukee Brewers on the money line.
Your fee in the Orioles-Yankees game, your fee in the Blue Jays-Mariners game, and, of course, the your fee in the Red Sox-Astros game.
Plus 508.
I'll tell you, that Twins A's, you could have your fees. Not a your fee, your fees. A lot of them. Anyways, thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. It's been fun. I am public enemy number one, fraud, a scam, and whatever it is. It's like, unfortunately, the poorest executed those things. Isn't those supposed to be a profit deal? And I mean, the thing is like, I know everyone else in this industry, and if any of them ever really had the opportunity to stick their face in front of the camera, and even some of the guys that do, if they ever did it for an extended period of time, it's like, and had the guts to stand out there and you guys to take some shots at them. Oh man, what you would really find, would be horrifying to you. And these guys can attest to it. I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I'll just tell you they can. And anyways, keep it real, guys, man. I do the best I can, except when it comes to scamming and frauding. I'm just not good at it. So it's actually
like
my accountant's gonna be like, so it's you know, it's like, isn't this supposed to work the other way around?
I was gonna say, it's like you see that meme where what is it from Narcos, where Pablo Escobar is standing in an empty pool contemplating life, and you just see Mitch wondering how this scam artist thing works.
Yes. How about, like, so the betting tools, right? The betting tools, like the guys, my partners, they wanted to have like the betting tools to have like a good segment of them free, and then have like a deluxe edition of the betting tools, kind of like the best of the betting tool stuff, to have under a pay tab. And I said no, right? I said it has to all be free or whatever. It's just like, I mean, believe me, it's like I miss it. I have no idea, man. Anyways, it's funny. So I would love to hear what it is. I stink at it. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. Make it a winning day. Your feet till the wheels fall off.